Warning, the following contains material that may be too disturbing to some people. Descriptions of violence, mature situations, and adult themes. This is intended for mature audiences. Viewer discretion is advised. I leapt head first into the black, searching for answers. I found only more questions. My memories fade with each step. I feel a weight. It's so heavy. I find nothing. Here in darkness, I awaken for the first time. My skin is on fire. My lungs ache for air. My body's too weak to stand. To fight back. The pain pierces every thought. Death would be a kindness that I do not deserve. Let me die broken.
Howdy, everybody. Welcome to Broken, episode 42. We're playing some sci-fi. Playing some sci-fi tabletop RPG stuff for you guys today. How is everybody doing? It's been a little while since our last session, but we're back. We're here, and we're ready to play. We got some new art. We'll get to that. How is everybody doing first? You guys all doing all right? Yeah,
not bad.
You guys sound so excited.
EP. I'm EP.
I can relate. Very much tired. Much sleep deprivation. It is okay. I'll survive. But I'm glad you guys are here. It's good to hang out with you guys again. Couple things. Guys, you can join the Discord. It's free. You can jump in the Chaos channel. And you can see all the memes these fools are about to be posting. Dank, I'm talking about you. Here is the link. If you're watching on YouTube, the link is in the description below. Jump in there. Post your most offensive memes. You will not get banned for offensive memes. That is a Discord policy. As long as it's a meme, you can be as offensive as you want. Dive on in. Thank you, Dank. The next thing on the docket is Dank needs fuel to post all these crazy memes, so you're gonna have to buy him a coffee at buymeacoffee.com/brokendank. Nos also works, I hear. It's a bit of a favorite.
Caffeine in general, I'm not picky.
Yeah, there you go. So do it. You can also take a visit over to twitter.com/sketching space for Gerblin art goodness. Gerblin, I've been seeing your sheep all over Pal World in people's videos.
What?
And I don't know if I'm going crazy or what, but I'm like, they stole this design from Gerblin. Like Nintendo? People are talking about Nintendo suing Pal World? No. Gerblin should be suing Pal World for copyrighted sheep. I could be wrong, but they look very similar, is all I'm saying. Roten. Yes. But you can see art and stuff there, so go give a follow. And you can also see Ace of Wanda's Designs art from Cassidy on the show. You can check out Instagram.com, TikTok.com, and coffee.com/Ace of Wanda's Designs. Here's the link for that. There might be some news. Joanne, who does Ace of Wanda's Designs, may be around. Just keep an eye out. That is all I'll say for now. It may be some time. I don't know. We'll see.
Keep an ear out.
That's all the general announcements. I mean, you can follow me around the internet, Ramblin TV. You know the thing.
Just follow him around in real life.
Follow me around and take pictures. And leave notes on my car. It's really romantic. I really appreciate that stuff.
All right, I'll be sure to do that next time I'm in Tennessee, bud, just for you.
Please do not do that. Do not.
Cover your card.
Did I mention I am armed? Do not show up at my house. Federal government. Sorry. Anyways, now that our FBI agent is listening. So,
for legal reasons, this is a joke.
Is it though?
For illegal reasons, this is a joke.
Listen, I'm not that weird, man.
All right, cool. Well, good to see all you guys. So I guess we'll go around the table. We'll do that thing where we introduce folks. We talk a little bit about your character, what's been going on. Maybe we'll wrap it all up with like a where are we now kind of thing. And then we'll jump into the game. Sound good? All right, that's what I like to hear. So we'll start with...
Heard nothing. That's what I like to hear.
We'll start with Dank. Dank, how is Dank doing? How are things? You've got a new token.
Hard work.
Hard at
so
work.
Nice. The figures actually look proper.
Yeah.
Dank is doing pretty good, man. We got the submarine, meeting with important people for backstory reasons, possibly. Some interesting things going down.
Yeah, some weird things going down. But yeah, interesting nonetheless, I think. You got a new artifact, you got some new sunglasses, you got a new submarine. Things are looking up.
Things are going pretty well.
Yeah.
So far.
For now.
Just waiting for the other shoe to drop.
Yeah.
Who's got the bucket of yellow paint?
I've had it in my head too. How dare you?
Alrighty, well. Thank you.
Well, you're the Dreamlander, so you can summon it.
Thank you, Dank. Up next, we've got two Gerblins, two Enigmas. There's only one Gerblin, I guess. Enigma and Imogene. How are you guys doing?
Well, I mean, I personally tend to describe myself as being multiple raccoons in a trench coat or multiple Gerblins in a trench coat. So, I mean, there could be multiple me. Hey, listen, words are hard. Enigma's fine. They are no longer in a vehicle of any sort, so they're not as panicky about life. They also got a cute little token from the homeless guy in the elevator, so that's fun. Features a
Yeah.
lot of little peoples. So that was cool. And they've met back up with Amgene, who is not doing so good, and definitely had a fever dream where they almost drowned in a freaking elevator. So that was fun for them, I'm sure. But they're out of that hallucinogenic nonsense, and on the way to doing better. Hopefully, maybe we'll see.
We will see indeed. Best of luck. I almost forgot about the little Bostlewood figurine thing. Yeah, that was neat. Yeah, we'll talk about it. I'm sure Caitlin has questions. Like, what are they talking about? Thank you, Gerblin. Up next, we've got Mori playing Cassidy for you guys. Mori, how is Cassidy doing?
Hearing voices.
Hearing voices.
I got the lady we had to lie to in the elevator, and then when I got out, I heard a lady crying in a room.
Oh yeah, that's right. Yeah. Yeah, you heard a lady crying in a room, and then you just kind of
I
ignored
didn't
it.
peek in the room.
Yeah, I think there was some debate on whether you were going to or not.
Yeah, but I didn't do it. I was tempted to, but I didn't do it.
Fair enough.
Mainly because I was trapped in my own room less than 3 hours beforehand.
Yeah, makes sense. Don't want to intrude on someone else's mental breakdown.
Nah, it's rather rude.
Yeah. Cool. Well, thank you, Maury. Up next, we've got Caitlin playing Nayla for you guys. Caitlin, how is Nayla doing?
Nayla is stressed.
As always.
Yeah, pretty much. She is going to talk to people that she don't know, about things that she doesn't want to talk about. And we just got this band of assholes back together after many of us were shot at, and I lied and said I was a mermaid.
Yeah.
Wait, you're not a mermaid?
Oh no, my secret's out.
Yeah, fair enough. I mean, you do have memories of mermaids, I guess. So
I sure do.
Close enough. And if you're just joining us, the mermaids in this setting are not nice things.
No, they're great. Go take a look at
you.
them. It's fun.
They're terrifying. They will.
This message brought to you by Big Mermaid.
They will haunt your nightmares. Yeah. Okay.
Oh, no, Beaver Mermaid, not Bit Mermaid.
Cool. All right. Well, thank you, Caitlin. And last but not least, we've got Zach playing Darren. Zach, how is Darren doing?
I don't know why they're all complaining. I'm fine over here.
Yeah,
I just got rid of my debt. I'm fine. I don't have to die.
Yeah. You kept your people safe?
Yeah, sure, that too.
Like when there was the whole showdown at the hospital, your sister, her father-in-law, right? And
yeah, they matter definitely. Yep.
Yeah. Oh yeah, those people. Yeah. Fair
See,
enough.
I was more thinking about the group, the team when you were thinking you kept your people safe, and I was like, oh yeah, I guess I did. Oh no, wait, my sister matters. Yes.
Right on.
Sorry, guys.
Well, thank you, Darren. So, yeah, we left off with the scene at the Hotel Indigo where you basically had been called to a meeting by the folks who have sort of been, you might say, leading you along. At the very least, they've been dropping intel to Dank. It seems like they also tried to help out somewhat with what happened at the hospital. And they seem to represent the flooded countries themselves. And we left off with you all, so basically one by one stepping off the elevator and eventually making your way to an office at the top of the hotel. I think it was this screen we were using here for the hotel. And let's see here. Here's what I'll do. And I guess we can fade in on a conference room. There's 3 people standing in the conference room. First, the camera pans across Flint, who is sort of stood up in the corner facing out the window. We've seen him before. He's sort of got this stern, focused look on his face. We see Verona sort of standing at the table, looking bored as ever, probably like tapping her foot or tapping her fingers on her arm or something, just like she's waiting for anything to happen. And then we pan across the other side of the table where we see a different man standing there. By his feet, we see some hiking bags with supplies on them. And he himself has darker skin, some scruffy facial hair. He's also kind of dirty, just like he's been working outside or something. His hair is long, dark, and dreaded. He wears a t-shirt, some basic hiking gear, and some like cargo pants. He has a tattoo that runs down one of his arms, almost like a sleeve tribal tattoo with the face of a dog on it. And he's wearing some bands around his wrist. As the camera pans across these 3 standing there, we see the group of you standing near the entrance to the room. Let me just pull you on over to the screen here, if it will let me do that. Here we go. Yeah, here's the new guy. As Flint turns around from looking out the window and faces the group of you and says, well, I suppose a lot of you have some questions. And he like gestures a hand out to the chairs around the table, and he says, you can stand if you want, or take a seat, make yourself comfortable. Up to you. He shoots a stern look at Verona, who kind of backs up with her back towards the window, and just sort of like watches you all. What do you all do?
Stand in a position where my back isn't to the window or anybody else in the room.
To the window or to the walls.
I suppose Nayla's gonna try to make herself bigger, even though she's extremely small.
Her hair just poofs out.
Yeah, okay.
And she's just kind of like, what do you want?
Yeah, Flint looks at this guy. And then he looks back at you and he says, it's not about what we want. You came here looking for something, didn't you?
Dank, what is he talking about?
Out of curiosity, I don't remember. It's been like 6 weeks.
No problem. So remember, you guys went to the Flooded Countries in the first place to try to get something to help fix
The
Nataku's.
technology.
Right.
Yeah.
We're supposed to be trying to like repower Nataku.
Yeah, you're trying to get something to fix their circle.
As Nayla was in animal mode, she like shoved everyone.
Shoved us in here.
Yeah. Yeah, that's right.
And
Yeah, you
had
went
caused
animal mode.
Cassidy trapped in a mental asylum for God knows how long.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So he says, you came here looking for something, didn't you? And then there's kind of like this heavy pause. And he says, well, welcome to the Flooded Countries. And then he kind of like winces a little bit and tilts his head to the side. Verona rolls her eyes. And he says, well, our doorstep anyway.
That makes a lot of sense. Of course, it would be Ohio.
Hey, there's a lady outside in the hallway crying.
That sounds like not my problem.
Yeah, he says, just ignore her. And then he goes, did you look into the room?
No.
Yeah, and then he goes, good. So like for a moment when he asked that question, all three of them look at you, and then when you say no, there's like a tension that kind of leaves them, and they go back to looking at whatever they were looking at. Some of them, Verona,
that lady's real bad.
Yeah, Verona's
They're
kind of
hiding something.
Verona's kind of staring off at a corner of the room, occasionally making glances at Darren. Although if he's ever looking at her, she tries not to glance at him when he's looking at her. The big guy with the dreads, he doesn't really look at any of you. He's just sort of like staring out the window absentmindedly. And Flint is sort of like addressing all of you, so he's kind of looking at one of you at least at all times.
Looking for a power source and technology to fix the circle in Nataku.
Wheel.
Yeah, he nods, and he says, "Yeah, could have surmised that. We detected a fluctuation in the power lines some time ago. How bad is it?"
Cities without power. It's shot.
Part of Inky.
I can fix it. I just
Apparently,
need
there was
parts.
like a Yankee contingency plan that went off and just completely disabled the power grid for the entire city.
Yeah, he nods, and he says, "So, you've come to ask us for help to replace this."
No, I actually don't know why we're here. Cause Nayla does not remember how we ended up here.
Yeah.
Cassidy's gonna look at her and go, "You told me to put the thing in my neck, and we ended up here."
I didn't tell you nothing, but okay, I guess.
In In the dream, you dragged me down into the water and then motioned for me to plug some weird cord into my neck. And then I was like feel like gestures with her hands like to this towards the space.
Put that away.
When you mention the dream, we see Verona's eyes light up for a minute, like, oh, something interesting, finally. And then she quickly, like, as she listens to what you're saying, she loses interest, like, almost immediately. She goes back to
Rude.
just, yeah.
But yeah, no, essentially, yes, we did come here for help with solving that problem.
He goes, he says, the Inky are behind this. You're sure?
100%.
Yeah.
He says, seems strange that you would bring him here, then. And he points at Ernest.
He's not with Inky.
Is that so?
Yes.
Well, I have reason to believe that this is none other than Silas himself.
Then you would be a complete fucking moron.
What is a person but their current memories?
He nods. And he says, good. Fair enough. So we have an understanding there, at least. Seems you've run into some Inky here in the city. You've, what, stirred the pot? Did they follow you?
No. They lost that engagement right before you showed up.
He shakes his head and he says, no. Did they follow you to our doorstep?
Oh, definitely not.
Then they were already here.
Yes.
He shoots a glance over at Verona, who kind of like slightly shakes her head side to side. And then he nods.
Look, man, the fact of the matter is Inky is everywhere. They are an insufferable plague that needs to be wiped out.
He shakes his head at this. He definitely seems a bit irritated now. And he says, Inky is an infant saddled with a death spitter. He says,
there are bigger players at the table.
He says, Verona like rolls her eyes and she turns and faces away from you guys out the window. And he says, you kill them, yes?
Oh, absolutely.
Disappointing. The people
How is that disappointing?
The people we represent would say you're not worthy of an audience. Now, I have.
They try to kill us.
He shakes his head and he says, "Doesn't matter. Today's Inky is tomorrow's vagabond. You should know that." He gestures at Ernest.
I'll raise my hand. I haven't killed anybody.
This is a joke.
There are preferable alternatives, and we strive to take them when applicable. It's not like we're out here just murdering them on sight.
Yeah, he says, how do you know that you haven't worked for them yourself at some point in the past? He's looking directly at Dank when he says this.
And
He wouldn't do that. He wouldn't betray us like that.
Oh,
I mean, it wouldn't be betrayed if he did it before.
As long as he's not doing it now, I suppose.
Angie
Zephyr.
just super tense in the corner.
I'm gonna do like a keep my cool kind of thing.
Yeah, make a roll.
Oh. What do I need to roll? Perception?
What are you trying to do here, Caitlin? I was talking to Dank, who's wanting to roll to keep his cool, I think.
Well, he said to keep his cool, so I'm assuming that's to keep his cool towards me or all of us.
It's not rolling. Hang on, I gotta refresh. Come on.
Roll 20. Why? Just keep it open. Stop doing things.
Is it messing up your sheet? Is it not letting you roll?
Yeah, I'm like using the sheet to roll and it's doing absolutely nothing.
All right. That means I need to probably reset the API script. Let me check it.
Hang on. Try to clear my cookies and cache and see if it fixes it.
Yeah, I probably just need to restart the API. It's fine. Just give me 1 second. Restart API sandbox. Yeah, it does look like it was getting an error. Spinning up new sandbox. Loading character sheet data. Okay. There it goes. It fixed. All right. So you got a success. Did you keep your cool? Flint goes, Zephyr, play recording 13A, Europa.
Despacito.
Play Despacito. Yeah. And you see an image projected on the windows of the conference room. In the image, we see a group of vagabonds.
Oh, God.
Some of them look pretty familiar. They are standing in what looks to be some kind of a train or a tram, maybe a subway of some kind, and they're speaking. One of them we saw just a few minutes ago for the first time. Clearly is younger in this footage. There's a lot of interference in the footage too, right? So there's like some tracking lines, maybe static that cuts in and out. But we see a woman in a doctor's coat that we saw a few minutes ago. Clearly it's Narcissa, the woman you saw at the hospital. And she's talking out loud about how she's terrified of Silas. And Dank is standing there. Also looks a bit younger. He's trying to calm her down. There are a few other people in the footage that you don't recognize, but you do recognize one that looks a lot like Enigma. Maybe Imogene. There's also a dead body on the floor.
Oh my God! I forgot.
The tram door is like wedged open, and we see like a lot of like rushing. The signs of like rushing.
You know, I forgot we killed him.
Who's this we?
Liz killed him.
Yeah.
There is no we.
Yeah. Regret nothing.
So like we see this sort of like conversation play out that makes it clear that they are working for Silas or the Inky or what have you, and that they're supposed to be trying to accomplish some kind of mission, right? And then the footage like pauses and zooms in on Dank's face, we see like a scan on the screen, so like a facial recognition thing, and it says subject identified as Dank, and then the shot pans over to the zoom in on Enigma or Imogene's whoever's face, and we see a scan around the face, and it's the subject identified as Enigma, and then there's like a question mark. Yeah. And then Flint says, this appears to be you, does it not?
So it does. There
How
are
long
more
ago
than
were
two
these
sides
taken?
to each conflict.
What'd you say, Maury?
How long ago was this taken?
He says, this was taken sometime in the past 30 to 40 cycles.
Okay, so that lines up for Dank's aging, but explain how that lines up for Enigma. Or Amgene.
Yeah, they don't look older. Yeah,
She's trying to like debunk their
yeah.
video.
Yeah, he says, well, I think that's something they should explain to you themselves.
Or we can trust our comrades. History is history for a reason. What we do in the present is what's important.
He shakes his head and he says, I'm not showing you this to get you not to trust your friends. My problem isn't what you did here, it's what you do now. You still kill without abandon. You take no care. He says, they may be our enemy, the Enki, but spreading death and destruction, this is not the answer.
And what do you propose we do? Allow them to kill us?
No.
Avoid conflict. Avoiding conflict is always an option.
How the hell can we avoid conflict when they do nothing but follow us everywhere?
He says they can be won over with the right tools.
Why? So we can just be tested on numerous times?
Yeah, he shakes his head again, and he says, no, to put an end to their ignorance. He says, they don't ask the right questions. They're too busy trying to amass power and knowledge to bother thinking about what they're poking with their sticks.
And what are the creatures that are tired of being poked?
Which
Then
ones?
what are the white questions?
Where do the vagabonds come from? What is their purpose? What is Nibiru? What is the blackout?
Say you find out, what then?
You make the hard decision, the right one, the one that keeps the most people alive, safe.
You're familiar with the
And if
trolley
that's an
problem,
impossible
right?
answer?
The trolley problem?
Mm-hmm.
What about it?
At what point does the body count become too high to really justify saving anyone in the first place? Yes, you could save so many people, but in doing so, do an equal, if not lesser, amount.
He says, no, saving them well, just buys them more time until someone has to save them again. But as far as the dooming, it'll only be a very small amount. The right people making the hard decision.
All right. So when it boils down to it, it sounds like your morals are kind of flimsy, my guy. If certain people have to die so that a majority can live, you're still technically killing people. Even if it's indirect, people are dying as a cause of your action.
He says, no, you misunderstand. The people doing the saving are the ones dying, typically in this situation, and they make the choice themselves. Are you familiar with the Whisperers?
What?
Amjean goes, only vaguely.
Have you heard any of the stories? You see, the Flooded Countries is a community of vagabonds. It is something we've kept safe from the Inki for a long time. We hold knowledge, some of which goes back to past flickers, much of which is fragmented, yes. But we do have proof that says Whisperers, and he looks at Ernest when he says this, and then his eyes like cross over to Dank, and then eventually the rest of you. And he says, they still walk among us. There are still some left. And in order to stop the blackout, well, the only way that they've ever been able to do it in the past is for some of them to lay down their lives. Willingly, mind you. And there's a long pause again. And he says...
How do you find a whisperer? You get what I mean.
He seems to kind of consider this, and he says, usually the way they're identified is by displaying some kind of power that even vagabonds don't typically reach. See, the stories say that the Whisperers were like gods, that they could speak to Nibiru, and Nibiru would obey their commands, that they could bend the world to their very will if they desired to. Truth is that it's much more complicated than that. Many of them were, or are, unique. They have their own very specific abilities or roles. We think they were originally made with Nibiru. Counter to what cults of silence may believe, or those who follow the shepherd, we think Nibiru was built for them. It is this knowledge that Inki has targeted us for. They are after Whisperers. They seek to control them, use them as weapons for their own cause, for that of the Arku. But they are mistaken. We don't know for sure what happens to them when they enter the core, but we know that, well, they're never seen again. So it's easy to presume what happens.
So in order to prevent a blackout, some of them would have to give up their lives.
Death marches to the core, the lot of them. The center of the Antumbra, walking into pure fire and radiation, never to be seen again. So yes, I would say that they did lay down their lives for, well, at least to buy some time for the innocents that still live in Nibiru, to not let them all starve out, freeze out, suffocate in the darkness. Eventually, this cycle would have to come to an end, I suppose, either through a failure of whatever system they are restarting or a failure of character from the very vagabonds that would need to step up to this calling.
What do you mean by a failure of character?
Meaning, perhaps you're just not worthy. Perhaps you aren't the kind of person that would lay down your life. Perhaps we're wrong and there are no whisperers left. All of these are possibilities, I suppose. But this is the reason the Flooded Countries has these moral dilemmas. We try to hold on to our humanity, even in the dark. So far, it's worked better for us than the rest of Nibiru, I must say. We've yet to tear each other apart. Like even Nineveh did at the end. Now, so far, you've proven that, well, our superiors won't allow you into the countries, but we will try to help you. I think we can provide you with the equipment you're after to fix this generator in Itaku. But we've been ordered to have you undergo, well, think of it as a test or an assignment, I suppose. We'd like to separate.
And if we refuse?
If you refuse, you're free to leave without assistance, of course.
What's the assignment?
We'd like to separate the group of you. Some we'd like to speak to one-on-one. Others, we would like to help you learn how to use your abilities. We've noticed that some of you, well, some of you are like some of us. And while it may be a bit idealistic, it is our custom to try to show you a more positive way.
How can there be a more positive way for a Dreadlander? She looks over at Ernest.
More than one way to use a hammer.
Yeah, he kind of sighs, and he says, must admit, we don't have a Dreadlander, but as far as I understand, our superiors are actually quite happy with this one. He seems to be one of the most worthy among you. Yeah, you chuckle at that, and he kind of raises an eyebrow, and he says, "What? Are you surprised?"
That's after suspecting him of being with Enki?
He shakes his head, and he says, "No, we knew he was with Enki."
Got me trapped in a mental ward for days.
He tried to help you.
He's terrified of me.
Maybe so, but he still tried to help you nonetheless, did he not?
He thought I was crazy.
Was he wrong?
Her eyes narrow at that.
He says, you have nothing to be ashamed of. We're all a bit crazy, I think it's fair to say. It's the nature of our condition.
I think I'm mostly fine.
Verona kind of smirks a bit.
Oh God, I'm debating dropping something really big, and then I decided, no, that's probably a bad idea.
Do it.
No. Out of character. I almost decided to be like, well, I know I don't go that crazy because I have seen myself in the future.
I mean, you could do that if you want. Up to you.
Not yet.
This is probably the one group that would actually believe you too.
Yeah, but not yet. I will think about it because I assume probably I am one of the ones they're training too.
Yeah, you have fun with Verona. She's going to be a wonderful teacher.
My Verona.
Yeah.
He says, that's the way with things, isn't it? We're constantly losing and writing new memories. Being torn apart and put back together over and over again for who knows how long. The problem is that it's only a matter of time until we're all too broken to fix Nibiru. So, what's more important? The only thing that, if the world is ending, will come to an end eventually, and there's nothing we can do about it, then the only thing that really matters is the time we have left. Or at least the time that those we care about have left. Or those who still have some kind of innocence have left.
Entropy is inescapable, and all things eventually come to it. You should live every day like it is your last.
How does one become worthy? I suppose it's not simple.
Stop murdering people and be kind.
It's a start, I suppose.
Yeah,
There's more to it than that.
obviously.
He kind of thinks about what he's going to say. Like he says, and then he stops for a second and he sort of like shakes his head. And he says, we're not a religion. Not all of us are the best of our current ideals. Some have found ways that work for them. But I think the path is different for everyone.
For striving to be a better me.
Yeah, he kind of looks back over at you and he says, well, for what it's worth, many of us soldiers were trained off of your previous example, Dank. But
That's fair.
That terrifies me.
It seems you've changed since then.
I'd like to think for the better.
Make a insight check, somebody. Anybody?
Sure.
Non-verbal attention to detail,
Yes, for sure.
intuition.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, just a couple of those gets me to 3. So
Yeah.
I don't
contested.
have anything.
He doesn't. It's not something he says. It's like a facial twitch.
Oh
All
shit!
I have is
Oh, dang. Yeah, I'll just leave it.
observation.
Hold on.
Okay, one at a time. What'd you say, Maury?
Observation.
That would apply here. Yeah. Dank's got it. Critical success. Okay. Success.
Yeah,
okay.
I have no idea what's happening.
Major failure. You're
Now,
pretty sure.
just a reminder: if it has anything to do with lying, I cannot pick it up.
Yeah.
That was. I rolled that as a contested.
You still got a 4 though.
You still got a 4. It's a success. Okay. So if you got a success or better, you pretty much get the general idea. Okay.
Jesus
all right.
Christ.
Jesus, Enigma.
Critical successes. I'll tell you the whole thing, and those of you who didn't get a critical or whatever, you can decide what part of it you know. Those of you who failed, if it's a fumble,
I know nothing.
If it's a fumble, you're just not sure. If you got a major failure, Nayla, you're pretty sure it's like indigestion or something.
There's a pretty bird outside the window.
Yes.
Yeah.
I figure a fly landed on him.
But basically, when he says you've changed and you say hopefully for the better, he shakes his head no, like subtly. Like it's just like a reaction. Like he doesn't intend to do it. But he shakes his head no, and you realize that like the sort of manner he's carrying himself and the look that he's been giving you is kind of like you should never meet your heroes kind of look. Like he's disappointed.
Oh no! You made this man disappointed, Dank.
Damn.
Oh God.
Significantly more of a murder hobo back then.
Cassidy just gets this like
apparently
cat
not.
ate the canary grin on her face.
Or
Were
the
you
stuff
good,
he's
bud?
talking about being trained from your example, maybe that goes back farther than you realize.
Maybe it was more like my stealth and infiltration and like wordsmith type things. Because like Dank B had a lot of social infiltration.
It could go back a long time before Dank B. I'll just put it that way.
That's fair.
Are you good there, bud?
He ignores you. He says, no, I mentioned we would like to talk to each of you one-on-one. And then he looks at the enigmas, and he's like, the two of you can stick together. Truthfully, we haven't had direct contact with, well, someone like the two of you yet. Not in a body, anyway. But if you want to get more in touch with the collective, we can arrange that.
Yeah, they kind of share a look between each other, and Enigma goes, "We'll talk about it first," and looks back at him.
Very well. It would be interesting to see if we can discover what made you two divergent in the first place. So, we do have
Two enigmas diverged in a yellow wood.
He says, we do have rooms available. I imagine it's been quite a long day for the group of you. If you'd like to rest, perhaps now is a good time to do it. Tomorrow, well, we may have a long day ahead of us.
If I'm going to stay here, I want my Way Watcher or one of my children here with me.
Yeah, there is a
We did call Weight Watcher over to the sub.
He's at the sub. Yeah,
Yeah.
but they said he couldn't
okay.
go up the elevator.
there's like a slight pause, and Flint goes, Zephyr, are you getting that? And you hear a voice in the room, off to one side, kind of like sigh, and she's like, yeah, I got it. And you see glitching sort of from the air, just like appearing, stretching, arching her back, kind of like a cat, is another face. And she's like stretching with her arms in front of her, arching her back, and she goes, God, Flint, I don't like leaving the water. Yeah, I can get you your little pet. And she kind of like holds out a hand, and we see like Way Watcher's form sort of glitch into place in her hand. She's sort of like holding him from underneath with his legs like dangling over her palm. And then we see like, as it appears over the course of like 1 to 2 seconds, so it's fairly quick, but as soon as it like finishes digitally appearing, we see the like lights on Way Watcher flicker on, followed by some sounds, startup sounds, and then Way Watcher focuses in on you, Cassidy.
She is like, as soon as he starts like materializing, she's like crossing the room.
Yeah. And he's like,
well, I don't understand what happened. I was on the ship.
It's okay. And she's like petting him, holding him close. Like her face has gone from like very cold, calculated to like extremely soft.
This is Zephyr, by the way.
Ooh.
And she's like, yeah, don't worry about it. He's fine. Interesting piece of technology, that. She says,
I would very much recommend you don't touch it.
Yeah.
She kind of shrugs and she says, well, I doubt there's much to learn from it. Primitive piece of consortium tech, that.
If even one screw is loose, this team will be down a member.
She kind of chuckles, and she says, I'd have no reason to harm him.
Nayla just visibly smacks her forehead. Like, God damn it, we've just been here having this conversation of how we need to be better and stop killing.
Yeah.
I mean, we can better and kill.
I look after my own, nothing more.
She kind of like turns and looks over in Flint's direction, and Flint says, as do we. It's just that we see all of us as our own. Inky too. Innocents caught in the crossfire, even the Arku. We all came from the same things. We're here to try to protect everyone, not just ourselves.
I have not harmed any of the Inky unless I have been provoked.
We're not here to hold your past against you. But now that you're aware of it, maybe try to not be so careless going forward. Defending yourself is one thing. Can't fault anyone for killing when they have no choice in the matter. But anger, being provoked, or simply out of some sick sense of enjoyment, it's a mistake. All it does is damage your soul. And that could hurt all.
It's
of us.
already black. What more is there to do to it?
He looks over at Ernest when he says this, and he says, no matter how bad things are, I think you'll find that they can always get worse.
I think Murphy said that.
Why did you look at him as you said that?
He says because he knows the cost.
The cost of what?
He understands what I mean, that things can get worse. And Ernest kind of nods. And there's kind of like a pause as like Ernest kind of nods. He doesn't like stare at him. He just looked at him when he said that thing, and he looks away and he says, I've heard that Dreadlander's condition comes from a place of pain. So I hope that in your case, at least, it's not without reason. And Ernest doesn't say anything. Let's see how Ernest is doing right now, actually. He's doing all right. He just kind of Ernest looks over at you, actually, Nayla. He kind of has like an emotional look on his face, like his eyes are twinkling a little bit. He doesn't really look sad. He almost looks kind of, I don't know, make a check to see if you can tell.
All right. Do you contested or normal?
It's not contested. Normal roll.
Okay. Savvy.
All right. So when he looks over at you, he has this like you can tell that there's a bit of tears welling up in his eyes, but it's not like a sadness. It's more like he's proud. So you can put two and two together here. When Flint said, I hope that your pain doesn't come without reason, Ernest immediately was like, yeah, it didn't come without reason. Like the reason for my pain is right here, and I would do it again.
Be a proud daddy.
She's trying not to cry. just like, I don't know exactly what happened, but he's made a lot of sacrifices for me, so I'm not gonna question it. Even though Nayla doesn't really know what the sacrifices are.
Yet.
Yeah, I think Ernest takes the opportunity to give you a hug.
Okay. I will give him a hug back.
Yeah, so we see Ernest like approach you. He gives you a big hug, and he pulls you in tight. And then we see like we the audience see this inky shadow slithering down the back of Ernest's neck. It goes under his shirt, so we lose sight of it. But then the camera picks it up again, coming down his forearm. And it goes to the tip of his arm where his arms are wrapped around you. And then we see it appear on your skin. Then the both of you start coughing. I need both of you to make body checks, I guess. It's the best way to put it.
Oh. Is Constitution allowed?
Yeah, Constitution applies here. That's what I mean. Why can't I find Ernest sheet? That's weird. There it is. I'm just going crazy. Does he have anything? No. Of course not. He's Ernest. He's already beaten.
Well, if he did, he would have a negative to it, so it's probably a good thing he doesn't.
He's taken 2 points off of hand to hand so far, but that's the only thing. So it's just normal roll for him. Okay, so you're both kind of fine. So here's what happens, Nayla. You feel some kind of exchange happen between the two of you. You're not really sure what it is. But instantly, all of your Wildlander memories are gone. You lose all of them. If you can, please put them on, write them down for me, or put them on one of your journal sheets, and then I'll have you transfer that over to me because you lose all of those memories. You do gain.
That's all of them.
Yeah.
You should have. I think you had some memories that weren't Wildlander, like from the point of view of an animal. You had a couple, not many, I don't think.
No, but well, there really shouldn't be.
Let me take a look.
No, Wildlander should be strictly.
Yeah, that's the thing. When you are a thing, you have to do all of your things as a thing.
The only ones that you kind of let us not do that our habitat was the 3 at the very beginning, but even then, some of us still did them.
Yeah.
Habitat.
All right, okay, so I take it back. I'm not going to do it that way. I'm not going to. You have 4 pages of memories. I'm not going to take all of them. I don't really think that's fair. So what I'll do is I'll give you 2 memories, and I'll just take the most recent 2 memories you have. Does that sound fair?
Sure.
So the first memory you can add to your sheet is you'll switch it out for the other 2 memories. Basically, write those other 2 memories down and send them to me, and I'll put them on his. Is 1 to +1 to local fauna from the Umbra, and you also have a -2 to hand. And I'll
A minus what to hand?
-2.
Okay.
Okay. So he loses those memories. So they're gone from his sheet. You lose a couple memories, just not all of yours. Okay. Let me do this. I think it's supposed to be 3, isn't it? I think it is.
3 for what?
Dreadlander. It's his last Dreadlander roll. Hang on. I'm gonna have to check.
Is what?
the Dreadlander special roll. It's 3 dice, I think.
It increases with a certain amount of pages, I believe. It's one of the only ones that infinitely gets more powerful.
Okay, yeah, I think you're right. Yeah. All right, well, he fails. No big deal. He goes down another body step to wounded. Uh-oh. No, he should be at okay now because it's a new scene, new episode, new scene. If you all are down to shaken or beaten, make sure you move up 1 step, please.
Yeah, I'm okay on everything. Cool.
Okay. So yeah, he gives you this hug. There's this weird exchange that happens. Nayla, you can't really put your finger on it, but you feel like some you should feel good in this moment. Like this has been such a positive moment. But and you did feel that for a second. But as soon as this exchange happens, you feel like a part of yourself give way somewhere deep within you. And underneath that is just this empty, dark void. And you feel that pain that Ernest carries with him all the time, that he keeps hidden so well, but is always there, threatening to consume him. You feel that well up within you, replacing really what you didn't realize until now was keeping you together. Ernest's eyes sort of like flare this green color really quickly. The two of you are compose yourselves okay. There's like this slight moment where you both kind of feel like coughing and sneezing at the same time, so you kind of have to like get your bearing. And Flint, the new guy, Zephyr, and Verona all look over, and some of them are starting to move towards you. And Flint's going, "What was that? What just happened?" As they all seem to like kind of show some concern.
Nayla definitely looks kind of distant, but is just kind of like, I don't really know.
Yeah, Ernest kind of grips his side and sort of like coughs into his hand for a second, and puts a hand to his forehead. And he like shakes his head, and he says, "I'm not certain. I feel Yeah, he sort of like grips his his hand really tight, like he white knuckles it for a moment, and his arms kind of shaking. And it's like we see his muscles in his arms tense up. And he says, I don't know, feels different. Something. He opens his eyes and blinks a couple times, and we see his eyes are still kind of glowing this green color. It slowly like fades. This guy looks over at Flint, and then approaches the two of you quickly. He like puts a hand on Ernest's shoulder to kind of like comfort him. And as soon as he does, he looks over at Flint and kind of nods.
Flint says, great. So transference then. Yeah? Is that what this is? So he is a whisperer. Verona, Zephyr. Did you know this was a possibility? Verona looks kind of entertained. Like she seems curious and invested for the first time, basically in the entire conversation. And she kind of puts a finger to her mouth and she says, "Oh, that is interesting." And she goes, "Blank slate, then. I suppose that's what it means." You're having memory troubles, old man. And Ernest, who's still like trying to get his composure, is kind of like got his hand to his head like he's got a migraine. And he like opens his eyes again to look at her and he goes, "Don't know what that means." Flint says, "Okay, perhaps it's time to separate the lot of you then. Yeah? Before anything else unpredictable happens, that's going to change our plans going forward. Certainly."
I guess.
Do the group of you
it's
like
beneficial.
do the group of you like step apart from each other, or like what do you guys do?
I'm already kind of stepping away from everybody.
What do you say? What?
Thought it was already kind of like separated from everybody.
No, fair enough.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think both the enigmas are relatively close to each other, but not necessarily to everyone else. They kind of stay that way.
Yeah, I'm not really moving unless they ask me to. So, because like they could separate us if they need to, for me at least.
Yeah, I mean they don't put hands on you guys or anything. It's just they were taken off guard by whatever just happened. Flint, there's like a folder sitting on the table. He grabs it and it's like a manila envelope and he just like tilts it upside down and a bunch of hotel room keys come out of it. And he says, "We've got rooms for each of you. Just look, just try not to do anything more unpredictable while you're here. Get some rest. Be ready for tomorrow. We still should have one-on-ones." But he looks over at the big guy with the dreads and he goes, "Kanan, looks like you're with him now." Kanan looks kind of disappointed. Like he kind of like his posture slouches a little bit. And he kneels down and picks up one of the hiking bags from the floor by where he was standing, and he hands it to Ernest, who's still just like a little bit out of it, still kind of gripping his head, and he just like pushes it into Ernest's chest, and Ernest kind of grabs it with one hand. It's heavier than he realized, so when he grabs it, he kind of like slouches down a little bit before he adjusts to the weight of it. And then Kanan goes, "Be ready by dawn. Long walk tomorrow, old man." And then he walks out of the room, I guess.
You're just full of rainbows and sunshine.
Flint says, "Don't mind him. He doesn't mean to be rude. Change of plans make him nervous."
Okay, wait. So Ernest is going with him because he now has my gift. So what am I supposed to do?
Yeah, there's kind of a long pause as everyone in the room kind of like looks at each other like, yeah, what is she supposed to do? Flint says, "Well,
Like I said, we don't have a Dreadlander. I originally planned for him to maybe dive into some of his memories, see if we can help his condition. But he had to go and, well, swap habitats, which shouldn't be possible, by the way. So, looks like you'll be swimming through his old memories instead.
Okay.
And he nods. And he says, if I were you, I would brace. There's no telling how bad it is.
I know.
And
I
he
can
looks
feel
over
it.
at Ernest, and he's like, if I were you, well, I'd get ready for a lot of exercise tomorrow. Yeah, Ernest kind of looks at him with this confused look, and he says, well, you're a wildlander now. Sure, Kanan wants to put that to the test, so he's taking you for a hike, maybe some hunting. And Ernest kind of furrows his brow, and then sort of like shrugs, and he says, fine, I guess.
You should invite Sissa. She'd probably like that.
Yeah, Flint says, I'm afraid this is a one-on-one appointment, like we said.
I'm pretty sure we're all getting a one-on-one besides those two. She points at Amgene and Enigma.
Right. The two of you. Like I said, we haven't met a member of the collective in a body per se, but we do have a memory that we can give you access to. Hopefully, there's something you can glean from it. Darren,
Yes.
you'll be with Verona tomorrow. Hopefully,
Oh, wonderful. Yes.
hopefully she can give you some insight into your abilities. Yeah, Verona's basically doesn't even look at you. She's just like staring at the wall. She's bored.
God, she's so lame.
She's bored again. Cassidy, you'll be with Zephyr here. She like cracks her knuckles, and she like tilts her head to either side and it pops. And she's like, well, hope you're ready to see who the real computer pros are.
Cassidy just gives her like a blank look with Weight Watcher on her shoulder.
And then his gaze falls on Dank, and he says, not sending you anywhere, but was hoping we could have a conversation.
I'd enjoy that.
He nods. He says, well, find your rooms, get some rest. Be ready for tomorrow then.
You're dismissed.
I go off to find my room.
Nayla's not gonna sleep. What? But she will go to her room.
Yeah, we see the group of you sort of like part into the hallway as you're like matching up numbers on these keys to doors. Yeah, and as soon as you like leave the room, Flint looks over at Verona and he's like, transference, huh? That was unexpected. I suppose it could have gone smoother. What do you think? And Verona shrugs and she goes, who cares?
Such a bitch.
We love that bitch.
You have fun with that, Darren.
Yeah. Enjoy.
You get one
I get mind tortured.
Basically, yeah, doesn't sound like it's gonna be fun for you.
Yeah,
you get the family on you.
But we're here.
Here we be.
Ah, jeez.
Did I do that?
So, your rooms can look basically however you'd want a hotel room, like the best hotel room for your character to look. It doesn't have to look like it even fits in this building. So if you want, we've only got a few minutes left anyways, until Caitlin has to go.
We're good. I'm good until 1 a.m. Eastern time.
Oh, okay, that's right. Okay,
We got
that's
another
right.
hour then.
I was thinking
I don't
midnight.
feel like garbage now.
Okay. Okay. So what do each of your hotel rooms look like? And what do you do? What are you guys doing to like rest?
What to do?
Laying in bed, playing my guitar.
What kind of room is it?
Are the enigmas together or separate?
Up to you.
Together, but there's a tape line in the middle of the room.
It's like
oh my god, this is your half. This is my half.
That bright neon yellow reflective tape too. So if there's even that little bit of light, it glows.
See, I'm just like, now you say that, now I'm just like picturing almost like Wednesday and What's Her Bucket. It's just like totally different on two separate sides of this room.
Exactly,
Yes.
that was my thought.
Yeah, maybe it's like a double room. Each side has its own character. Up to you. I like that. That's a good idea.
Yeah, that feels right for
twice
them.
the work.
I don't think they made it.
The gifts are pretty good. Yeah, fair enough. Okay.
But I picture that they're actually like properly having a discussion about like learning more about the collective and all of that shit. And who the fuck was in that like video they showed with Dank? Like, none of us have that memory.
None of us are that tall.
Precisely.
There's at least one more Enigma running around somewhere that y'all need to find now.
Enigma grilling Amgene, like, is this another one of us that you've seen? Because you've said you've seen more of us. And then being like, I don't know, maybe.
Fuck if I know, bitch.
You're the first one I've talked to. I don't know.
Fair enough.
I don't know. You don't know. Nobody knows.
I imagine Dank's room doesn't have a bed. It just has like a really old couch.
Yeah, fucking couch.
Yep.
No, lay on your couch.
Maybe it's like a fold-out bed or something in a couch.
It is a fold-out bed couch. There's an end table with a lamp on it that also has like a drawer. There's a bookshelf that has several books that are. It's got some like Tom Clancy books.
All right.
There's a TV, but the screen doesn't work, and it's tuned to an easy listening channel on basic cable.
Fair enough.
And it's not like your normal TV. It's like one of those old cathode ray tube ones that's like built into a wooden frame.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The curtains are musty and moth-eaten. If you were to open them, it would just show you a wall. It's not even a window. Nice,
God.
safe, defensible
Yeah.
Wall.
You notice that, like the vent fan is on. You can hear like something metal clinking in there in rhythm with the fan
not
blowing.
the vents.
Like it's clearly just old.
Yeah.
Probably needs some repair work or something.
Probably gonna fiddle with it. Get out my can of WD-40.
I swear I wish I had Parker.
Yeah, sure. Make a roll.
Okay.
Mechanics or something.
Mechanics.
These would be new vents for Parker to explore.
Skitter.
That's a success.
Yeah, you're able to get it fixed. Maybe it takes you a little bit, like a few minutes. But yeah, you get in there and you see that like one of the parts is just kind of bent from overuse. But you're able to like straighten it out, put it back together, get some lubricant, some WD-40 on there. Good as new. Nayla.
Yeah.
You're probably the first one whose room feels a bit out of place. Like the room's probably small and cramped, but that's kind of normal for you. That's like cozy.
Yeah.
It's also very dark. And it's not cleaned either. It's almost like somebody was just living in here.
Depression.
Yeah.
Like someone was depressed and couldn't clean.
Yeah. There might be some like half-used drugs sitting out on the coffee table or something.
Yeah.
Free drugs.
Yep.
The curtains are drawn, so there's no light coming in from like the sunset or whatever. Yeah, and overall the room is just like kind of silent. If there is like a radio or like a TV,
It's playing sad music.
Yeah, or it's broken or something.
Alexa, play Despacito.
There might be like a half-opened container of alcohol also sitting out somewhere. The bed is a mess. And there's a few odd stains on the carpet.
This is my life now. Sits and does some drugs and then lays down on the bed and just silently suffers. Thinking about every wrong choice she has ever made.
What's the drug that you're doing that we see you do?
Oh God, I don't want to die.
We don't have to see like what it is, but do you snort something? Do you smoke something? Do you inject something? Like what are we seeing you do?
She's probably snorting it.
Out here just boofing ketamine.
All right, make like a Constitution check.
Oh God. Okay. The things I say I'm doing. It's fine. Everything is fine.
Look, it's better than some things the players have done around me.
You're fine.
The KGB.
Any checks that require like physical activity until the next scene, you have a +2.
Ooh.
We see you like snort something,
Don't
you
think
lay
she's gonna
down,
do anything.
and we just see you like looking up at the camera with your eyes wide open. Your eyes are all bloodshot. We see your like nose kind of twitch a bit, and then your hands go out to scratch your face. And do we just get like a shot of you just like staring at the ceiling, just not sleeping, or like what?
Yeah, pretty much. Or she stays awake until she becomes so exhausted that she sleeps.
Sleepless in Ohio.
But it's probably, again, her mind running wild of every wrong thing that she has ever done and how it has affected either herself or those around her.
Yeah.
And so she's not doing too hot, but it's okay because she's by herself.
Yeah. I imagine
no
this.
one needs to know.
I imagine this shot of like you, bloodshot eyes, laying on your back on a bed, staring up at like the camera. It's like very zoomed in shot. Maybe the camera's like zooming in slightly as like music in the background slowly ramps up, like tension building music. And then we just like cut away. Ernest walks into a room that's like it looks kind of like a hunting lodge. Like there's wood panel walls, there's like mounted deer head on the mantle. It's like a wood mantle with a fire, with like an old school wood fireplace. There's like a flannel couch and like an old style refrigerator, like a 50s refrigerator. Yeah, there's even like some animal rugs, like a bear rug on the floor. And he also looks a bit uncomfortable. Like he kind of like frowns and looks around at the room. He puts the hiking backpack down as he like sits onto the couch. The couch kind of like squeaks as he sinks into it. And he sighs. And then he kind of like leans back on the couch as he like opens unzips the hiking bag to see what's inside. And inside we see like a sleeping bag, like a hatchet, like a hunting multi-tool hatchet, maybe like a compass, a couple bottles of water, just like general hiking, camping gear. And he's looking through this stuff kind of as he's like laying back on the couch. And he sort of like dozes off, falls asleep. Darren, what does your room look like?
I think it looks exactly like the room that we first came into this area with. My hotel room.
Yeah, okay. Does it still have like the
it probably has everything in it that it had previously.
So like the stuff pinned up on the wall from like the museum?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. I like
it
that.
Probably also has some like spare art supplies. So yeah, I definitely think Darren's not quite ready to sleep yet. So yeah, I think he's gonna like try and paint the glitch that Verona did.
Okay. Sure.
With Waywatcher.
Oh, Zephyr, when she made Waywatcher.
Oh yeah, sorry, that one.
Yeah, you're good, man. Sure. Make a roll.
Let's see. I believe I already have 3 to artistry.
Sure.
Nice.
Okay. Savvy success. All right, so you're painting the glitch. like basically the effect that appeared in the air when she was basically summoning.
Yeah, maybe like at its glitchiest.
Okay. Yeah, so you get you're painting it and you realize it starts to look kind of like a symbol. Painting it from memory. Let me see if I can make it a symbol. It probably looks something like, I'll post it in Table Talk, maybe, if it'll let me. Crap, it won't. Okay, well, I'll have to take a snippet then. Let me do that. Let me do that.
I love doing unexpected things.
Now your painting of it probably looks a little bit fancier. Like there might be like glowing stuff coming off of it. Like it looked
right. It's a little abstracted.
Yeah. Snip tool, please.
No snip tool for you.
Okay, I got the snip. Let me just save it. And it should be saved. I'll post it in Table Talking first. Boop. And then I'll bring it up on Roll20. Give me 1 second.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, it's a cuneiform character.
Yeah, I technically don't know what that means.
Boop. This doodad here. Yeah, so you paint this out, and you're like putting the finishing touches on it. You know, like you're just you've almost got it just the way you kind of envisioned it in your mind. Like you're remembering
right,
when it happened, and you're just doing a couple little like final splotches on the canvas. And then nearby, you see that same symbol start to flicker in and out of existence in the air in the middle of the room.
If anybody has played The Room.
I don't think so.
It's a puzzle escape game. Anybody in the audience, if you've played that, this is exactly what I'm seeing.
Okay. Yeah. I don't think I've played it. And there's a really old puzzle escape game, but I can't remember anything about it from when I was in like middle school. I don't know if that was it.
Nah, it's relatively, well, I say relatively new. It's like 5 or 6 years old, but relatively new compared to us.
Not familiar, unfortunately, that I don't think. But okay, so yeah, it looks basically just how you painted it, but real. And it flickers, and it looks like what happened when she was summoning Waywatcher. And it flickers in and out of existence in the center of the room for, I don't know, 3 to 6 seconds. Like it definitely catches your attention. You look at it and know what it is. And then it just stops.
Sure, what I do with that. I definitely saved the painting, though.
Yeah, okay. You can do that. How are you saving it? Are you like rolling it up?
No, that would damage it. It's not even done drying. Probably. I don't know that I'd probably use the whole canvas for that. So maybe I grab like, I don't know, something loose and like put it under the bed.
Yeah, okay.
Like on top of those things so the paint doesn't touch the floor. Because I do put it like face down.
Okay, sure.
That way it's least likely to get discovered and also is safe from dust.
Yeah, fair enough. Okay, so you tuck it in a safe place under the bed.
I will go ahead and like with any other supplies that I have, I'll sketch out just the symbol itself.
Sure. Sketching it out. Are you just are you trying to make a work of art here, or are you just like drawing the cuneiform?
Yeah, not really. I think I'm just trying to draw the thing.
Okay.
This isn't like a, Michelangelo sketch thing. It's just I'm sketching something up because it is in my head right now, or I have seen it and now I am like, this is interesting. This needs to go somewhere. This is a sticky note sketch rather than a planning sketch.
Fair enough. Have you seen cuneiform written on anything up to this point? Like, I know we've talked about things with cuneiform.
I'm sure we've seen it somewhere.
Yeah.
Sorry, Maury?
Yeah, they've seen cuneiform written on things.
I'm pretty sure there was cuneiform on the password to the bunker that Dank was in.
Make a observation intelligence roll.
Attention to detail.
Yes.
I believe that's it. Okay, making sure. Okay, I get something.
You pretty sure you recognize it. Like, it's definitely cuneiform. You recognize the character. It's a fairly common character. Just not sure you know exactly what it means right off the bat. But you know that you've seen it. Maybe it was one of the characters on the terminal. Maybe it was even repeated a few times on the terminal. But you definitely recognize it from like what essentially seems to be common language in Nibiru. You're just not sure.
Okay, so it seems to be like a fairly common word.
Yeah, or character. At least. You're just not sure.
Right.
You're not sure which character specifically.
Cool. Yeah, I will ask around about this, I'm guessing, after we are out of isolation.
Yeah, okay.
Actually, shit. We have access to Waywatcher again. I'm going to see if Waywatcher can scan it using my little bracelety thingy.
Oh, the staff tracker?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. All right, so you basically like send a message to Waywatcher, who scans it. Yeah, basically the response you get from Waywatcher is
it is a common character, but only half.
Only half?
It's a character that represents the consortium, but it should be followed by another symbol.
Curiouser and curiouser.
Waywatcher pings you an image.
Yeah, I assume the other symbol.
Yep. As soon as it shaves here. Badoop. There's the second symbol. And I'll post it to Roll20. Give me 1 second. This.
Okay. Do I feel like I saw this symbol in the glitch?
Make a roll.
Attention to detail's getting a lot of work.
Yeah. Perception, observation, attention to detail, all that stuff would apply here too, I think.
Let me see. Yeah, I think just attention to detail. Okay.
Okay. You definitely did. But at the time, so like basically what you saw was the symbols morphing into each other during the glitch. And
okay.
The way it happened was so smooth or so seamless that you couldn't even tell they were two different symbols until you thought about it just now. But yeah, you saw both of them in the glitch.
God, I'm tempted to try and paint this into the...
You also know that this is another common character. It's actually probably more common than the previous one.
Mm-mm. Yeah, I'm very tempted to try and paint this into the image that I already had. Does it seem like it would? Because like you said, they're kind of flowing into each other, so it would kind of be difficult to like paint that specifically.
You could do it. It might look a little abstract, but I think you could do it if you wanted to give it a try.
I definitely think I'll try. I definitely think Darren would try.
Okay. So are you painting it into the same original painting, or are you painting a separate one?
I'm going to grab the original one out because that one had some sort of weird resonance with wherever we are now.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't really mind because whatever it is, it stopped. So either it is done or, you know, whatever it was, you know, either was it like a one-time thing or something like that. But I can redo this. So I definitely want to try and put that into that one because it already had a thing happen. So I want to try it again.
Yeah. Okay. Make another roll.
Okay, I'm getting a good the thing of successes, but it's not great. That would have been if I got one less 4. It would have been a complete bad because it's 3 1s.
Yeah, no problem. Okay, so here's what happens. You paint it in like it almost kind of looks like it's emerging from the background or from the original symbol itself. They're clearly two distinct symbols, but you paint it in. And as you're putting in the final touches, that flickering happens again in the center of the room. This time, instead of it flickering in and out and then stopping, it gets brighter. And Waywatcher manifests in the center of the room, floating in the air at first, and then quickly falling to the ground and catching itself on the ground. And is like, you hear some beeping sounds as it runs its booting up process. And then Waywatcher says,
I don't understand what happened. I was on the ship.
Oh no!
Oh!
Is there a scream from down the hallway?
No.
I think I know what happened, and this is terrifying. Waywatcher, could you scan for duplicate signals?
Scanning for duplicate signals.
Sorry, I hit the wrong button.
I was about to say, oh god, it was bad.
Boss music, oh no.
Duplicate signal detected. This is highly improbable. Detecting duplicate signals for Waywatcher.
Yeah, that's what I was afraid of. We got 2 Weight Watchers now, guys.
Yeah, we win.
This isn't gonna cause problems. When does my door open and when do I get taken away?
I mean, they don't come kick
Here's
your
a
door in
question.
right now.
Do you call Mama?
Hey, Way Watcher,
Mama
could you
has
call
twins.
Way Watcher?
Calling. Way Watcher.
I want to imagine there's like a phone noise in the other room.
The Way Watcher are just.
Yeah, so there's like a dialing tone, and then you hear another Way Watcher voice pick up, and it's like, and
Call from duplicate Way Watcher.
Cassidy, I am receiving a call from Way Watcher.
What?
What?
What do you mean you're receiving a call from Way Watcher?
Patching the call through. Now. Hello, this is Way Watcher. Hi, Way Watcher. This is Way Watcher. Hello, Way Watcher. Where are you? I was on the ship. I don't understand what happened. I am with Darren. Is Cassidy okay? Yes, Way Watcher. Cassidy is okay. How is Darren? Darren seems to be okay, although a little confused.
I am very confused, Cassidy. What's going on?
you hear that, Cassidy. What did you say, Maury? You kind of like peeked out on your audio there, so we didn't hear it.
Like spazzing out. Darren, what did you do?
I don't know. I was painting something and then a Way Watcher came out.
What did you paint?
Things?
Asshole.
Look, I can't be blamed for wanting to paint the glitch. It was weird.
What glitch?
You know, the one that happened before the Way Watcher?
Zephyr!
Yeah, that one. Mm-hmm.
You hear like doors slamming. Cassidy's going back to that conference room. You hear stomping over the line.
I think it occurs to Darren at that moment. Oh shit, none of these are Way Watcher!
I imagine like through the doorway along through the Way Watcher connection, you can hear her like roaring the name. Like she is screaming it through the halls.
Yeah, I mean, you get to the conference room and the 3 of them are still in there. Like they were clearly talking about something. And then you
what is the closest large object that she can pick up?
No, I'm following you. Don't.
Yeah, okay, we'll give you the opportunity to do something too, Darren. Like the closest object would probably be either like one of the chairs at the table or like a vase nearby, or
it's a chair. It's got to be a chair.
Hold on, we'll fix this. We'll fix this.
Yeah. So yeah, you heard
she is not listening to Darren at all.
You heard Cassidy stomp by your room, so you went out and followed her. And
also carrying Way Watcher.
Yeah, so you're both carrying Way Watcher, and yeah, you get to the room and she starts to go.
First
for the
would be on her shoulder.
Fair enough. So she starts to go for the chair, and she like grabs a chair. As she goes for the chair, Flint stands up, and Verona turns around and kind of looks wide-eyed and curious as whatever's about to happen. Zephyr sees the 2 of you with 2 Way Watchers and starts laughing. Like she starts giggling.
Oh, okay. Never mind. Hit her with the chair.
All right. Is that what you want to do?
Yep.
All right. So you pick up the chair and you go to take a swing at Zephyr. Make a hand-to-hand roll.
I also have blind anger, so that gives me +3.
Fair enough.
And that was a horrible roll.
Yeah, that's not great.
Okay.
Jesus Christ.
So you pick up the chair and you go to swing it at Zephyr, and she doesn't even move. But you see some Darren. You see nothing but white light, Cassidy. As your whole body, like, you feel fire shoot through every nerve ending in your body. You can't move. Suddenly, the chair drops from your grip, and you're just racked with pain. Darren, you see some different symbols appear in the air around Cassidy. The chair drops to the ground. And shortly, like, she's sort of like frozen in place for a second as you see like this same glow from the glitches kind of appearing around the outline of her body. You go down one body step, Cassidy.
Okay.
And you're sort of like stuck in place for a moment. Like you don't collapse on the floor. You're sort of like frozen, like you were holding the chair. And the pain subsides for a second, but you feel like if you try to move, it's gonna happen again. The Zephyr kind of like reaches up and takes her sunglasses off and shakes her head, and she goes, "Oh, that was stupid."
I mean, I don't exactly think she was thinking with her head there.
So what seems the problem? What seems to be the problem? What's gotten this one all riled up?
The fact that you probably didn't give her actually Waywatcher?
She looks over at Flint and Verona and kind of like makes a face. I guess insight check to see what the face is.
Nonverbal intuition.
Yep.
I just have the one of observation.
Finally.
Critical success. Critical success from both
Yes!
of you. So the look she gives Flint and Verona is very much like, what the hell are these idiots talking about? Like what? Like you just told them a dog could talk and wrote a Shakespearean play. Like these people have no idea what they're talking about. And she goes, "No, that's Waywatcher. That's the real Waywatcher. I transferred myself over from the ship."
Okay, so how are there two now?
That is a good point. Verona? The blonde steps up and kind of rolls her eyes. She goes, "Okay, what did you do?" Was it you? She's pointing at you, Darren.
Was what me?
Would you just go and make a second one?
No, not on purpose.
See, this is why we were going to keep the group of you separated. This is why we were going to go over your abilities and try to teach you how to use them. But no. You just have to go and play God just for fun when you're supposed to be resting. I was going to go over some of this stuff with you tomorrow, but no. I can do it all myself, he says. I know exactly what I'm doing. I'll just make a copy of her, kid, best friend, and use it to antagonize her, make her angry with us.
No, I was just painting, and something weird happened.
Okay, so new player. Got it. You sure it was the Inky that are infants, Flint? Because seems like these people have no idea the kind of power they're grappling with.
Of course we don't, because nobody has deigned to tell us.
Well, I was going to spend the whole day with you tomorrow explaining to your power, like, and how you could use it.
Look, something weird happens. I'm going to, like, poke at it and see what in the world is going on.
Oh, yeah. Well, you could have gotten somebody seriously hurt. Zephyr, let her go. Zephyr kind of like sighs, and Cassidy, you feel like you can move freely again.
So are they? And I like point between me and Verona and Zephyr. Kind of like you're kind of asking if we're all Dreamlanders, basically, without knowing the words.
Yeah, Verona points over at Zephyr and she goes, machine, and then she points at herself and she says, dreamer.
Then how is she doing what?
Well, we're in a machine, aren't we? I mean, she has certain abilities. She hacked the simulation.
Huh.
I mean,
it doesn't really explain those weird symbols, but all right.
Well, it's cuneiform, I think, right? Zephyr kind of sighs again. She goes, programming code, right?
Oh God, please don't tell me I'm going to regret not taking that programming course.
Look, clearly you had no idea what you were doing, but dreamers can do literally anything. I couldn't make a copy of Waywatcher, at least not without her help. But you, of course, you can do pretty much anything you put your mind to, even if it's by accident, apparently.
So what happens now?
She shrugs and kind of like puts her hands up. She's like, I don't know. You have two of them, I guess.
Just here or like for real? For real?
Well, I'd imagine it's Verona. You know more about this stuff than I do. I just do the code. And Verona kind of goes, well, for real, I guess. You can take them both out of the sim with you. I mean, you created a whole other life now, dreamed it into being. So it's your responsibility, I guess.
You know, I never thought here was where I would become a father.
Yeah, that's really interesting and everything. But speaking of being responsible for a whole other life, there was one other thing we meant to mention to you. The radio station guy, Wyatt, he's going to be your responsibility now.
Why?
Consider it a test. We'll still do our normal training tomorrow, but once we're done, since he's not awakened yet, it's your responsibility to decide how to wake him up. He might be useful either to the countries or to you, but I think it's only fair, since you've started him down the path of going completely insane, that you at least help him realize what the world really is, and hopefully without any permanent mental scars like so many of you have.
Hey, I am fine, which brings me to the question, do I have to tell him to run out into traffic?
No, please don't do that.
Darren realizing his past or his future self is a dick.
Kathy just like looking at him like, why would you tell him to run out into traffic?
No, it's what I did.
She's looking at you even more confused now.
Zephyr's like, that explains a lot.
Look, I was very convincing. And now's where I accidentally drop.
Wait. Verona goes, what do you mean you were very convincing?
Oh, whoever it was that got me was me. Probably from, I don't know, future, maybe? I don't know.
Oh yeah, didn't you say you talked to yourself in another dream or something?
Not for a little while, not since before the flooded peoples.
Verona's like, wait, it's not possible. What do you mean you from the future? That doesn't even make sense.
I mean, that's what I told him too, but he seemed very insistent.
How did he convince you?
Well, I'm not technically convinced, really.
Okay. You need to tell me what happened. Flint, are you getting this? What do you think? Another Dreamlander playing God? Flint shrugs and he says, never heard of someone pretending to be someone else from the future before.
I mean, he did tell me when the lights would go out in Nitaku.
Okay. So either he was from the future and knew when it would happen, and then Flint goes, or he's Inky, and he was part of the attack.
Yeah, also a possibility.
For both.
Do you have any information?
Oh, he did tell me to come. He did tell me how to come here, though.
There's a really poignant pause in the room.
Yeah, some sort of meditation in the water. It worked.
Did he come with you?
I don't think so. I only see him in my dreams.
Knocks your ass out.
Yeah, there's like a really still silence in the room. Zephyr and Verona both look towards Flint with kind of a concerned look on their faces.
Ooh, that's not good.
I'm stressed. What have you done? Darren, what have you done?
Anybody have the influence to fix that?
You were the one good child and you fucked it up.
I fucked it up with one painting.
Reroll that.
All right. You spending the influence point?
Yeah.
Stressed. Oh shit.
There we go.
Okay.
Now I'm over here like, no, that was actually a bad thing for me.
Flint kind of seems like he's thinking
Now
for
you
a
die.
second. And then he goes, Zephyr, see if there's any signals locked on, like tracers, anything, a proxy, anything on him. Check now. Zephyr,
I mean, we've had Way Watchers jamming our signal all the time.
Zephyr turns around and starts like tracing her hand in the air, like she's swiping on an invisible touch screen that you can't.
Can I try and remember what she's doing if I can like see any symbols?
Sure. Make a roll.
Attention to detail, meditation.
Okay.
Oof. Let me think on this for a second. I don't have much influence left, but I don't want that. So yeah, I'm just gonna re-roll. Should I re-roll the whole thing or just the ones?
Well, if you re-roll the whole thing, you have more chance of getting force.
Yeah.
He also has more chance of getting ones.
It's true.
Yeah. I'll just re-roll the whole thing. Okay, I'll take that.
Okay. So you do recognize a couple symbols that she's sort of like tracing with her fingers in the air. There's other stuff in there too that you don't get. But what's in this,
Yeah.
the thing that sticks out the most is the one that she repeats a couple of times. Let me get a snip of it.
Yeah, no problem. I'm causing you a lot of problems today.
It's all good. Hey, I like this. This is pretty neat stuff.
Gonna learn to hack the world, guys.
While this is going on, while Darren's paying attention to Zephyr, Cassidy is going to attempt to take Weight Watcher 2.0 off of him. I don't know what else to call it.
No, it's my baby now.
You're actually going to fight her for it?
Oh, no, I'm too
Let
much paying
him
attention.
have one.
Well, it's more of a, like, her not knowing if he really wants it or not, so if he doesn't really want it, she's going to take it.
Oh, was that posting?
I was about to say, I don't know that I'm, like, necessarily, like, I'm hanging on to him. I'm not necessarily fully paying attention, because I am paying attention to these symbols right now.
I posted those other symbols in the Forest of Flesh table talking by accident. That's my bad.
Oops.
Anyways, in the correct table talking channel, here's this one.
They're going to be so confused.
Yeah.
I had wondered about that.
That's my bad. I'm bringing it into Roll20 now. Just give me 1 second. So I can show the audience here.
That shares way too many letters with my own name for my comfort.
Do you know what your own name is in cuneiform?
Out of character,
I gave
yes.
you all cross stitches with it.
Out of character, yes, he says. Make a roll. Intuition, stuff like that would apply here. This is kind of like a mental check. I think you get +3 to this.
Okay. Intuition, I only have +1.
What else were you using on the painting stuff earlier?
Painting was artistry.
Attention to detail, I think, would apply here.
Attention to... Okay, then I get 3. Okay. Fuck.
Oh, damn.
Okay, one more. This is literally my last inspo. Or not inspo, influence.
Okay.
I'll take it.
You are 100% sure. Like, you don't know how you know. Maybe something just clicks in your brain. This is your name. Like, more than just the name Darren. It is the name Darren. Okay, written in cuneiform. But it's also like your real name. Like, it's older than this life. You know this somewhere deep within you.
Interesting. Terrifying. The fact that... Yeah,
so-
okay. Well, I now know my own ID code. Perfect.
Yeah, basically.
Oh
That's
God, trying to summon me like I summoned... Oh no, I'm not doing it.
Make a copy of yourself.
I'm gonna become Enigma.
So she
Wait till Cassidy learns how to do this. You'll never have a moment's peace again.
So yeah, you see her like tracing some of these things in the air, and she says out loud, "All right, Flint. Yep, got a proxy, a lock, just like you said." Flint goes, "Cut it." And then
Oh, this is gonna hurt.
You see like one final swoosh of her hand, and then Darren, you fade to black. He goes limp and collapses on the floor immediately.
I catch him.
Yeah, make a roll to catch him.
Let's
Watch him drop so hard that she smacks her own forehead off of his.
I've got hand to hand.
God, half of me wants to try and fight her for this, but yeah, no, not a good idea.
I think
You're
observation would help.
unconscious.
I've got robotic strength.
Sure. Yeah, those can apply. Say like you're watching for something to happen.
Oh no, I meant fight Zephyr for it previously, but no, I probably would not even have the conscious mind.
It's a
too confused about true name.
It's a critical success.
I got a roll of 3s.
Yeah. Yeah, you catch him no problem. Also, you know immediately that he's okay. He's breathing. He seems to be unharmed. Like there's no wounds on him or anything.
I'm alive.
He's just out cold, like asleep standing up.
Ooh, dream sequence.
There's
potato sack in his butt.
Like you catch him, and then all three of them, they all kind of like breathe a sigh of relief. Like there's another pause, but this one there's a lot less tension in the air as they all kind of like, whew. And then Zephyr goes, had a tail in his psyche. Well, it's a good thing we caught it. It just seems, I mean, what are the odds that we actually catch something like that? It nearly got through every security measure, Flint, every defense we have. And then she pauses for a second. Like the first time Zephyr's been like serious the whole time she's interacted with any of you guys. And then Flint says, well, it's a good thing we caught it before he went to sleep here. Cassidy, your friend is going to be okay. He just needs to sleep it off. Side effect. Something has been taking advantage of him, I think.
I'll put him in my room tonight.
Perhaps
I don't need a lot of sleep.
Yeah. Perhaps that would be for the best. And please don't attack any more of us, if you don't mind.
She looks down at the second Way Watcher and goes, so long as no more surprises show up. And then she just turns around and leaves.
All right. Carry Darren out.
Yep.
All right. As we fade away, what are the Enigmas doing? I think they're the only ones we haven't checked in with since they got to their room. This is that whole crazy mess unfolded.
Yeah. They legit like sat down and just like had a proper freaking conversation because I feel like they probably haven't really had the chance to just talk to one another. And yeah, they did definitely sit down and decide like, okay, yeah, getting down to kind of what the collective is, and if we can figure out more about the collective, maybe that'll give us both a better idea of what we're doing, who we are, those sorts of things. And like the comedy beat of like them having this deep like kind of conversation, and then just the stomping, yelling outside the door as both of them stop and turn and look at each other, and David just goes, "Not our problem." MG goes, "Yeah, no, not getting involved." And then yeah,
probably Darren's panicked yelling behind it. Much quieter.
Oh yeah. And both of them are like, that's not even we're not touching that.
The multiple beep boops coming from the hallway from different directions.
God, honest.
Wait till they find out there's two Way Watchers in the morning.
That'll be fun, I'm sure. But yeah, I think they do end up kind of coming to that consensus of yeah, let's see what information they can provide, and if we can figure out more about the collective.
All right. Is the room like a half and half kind of setup where it's like...
Yeah, I think that makes the most sense for them. Amgene's side of it's more kind of industrial and cold almost, and like kind of dark, grays and blacks and whatever. Feels a little more impersonal because that's, kind of per their own admission, this is kind of the first time they've been able to think clearly. It's been kind of they haven't really been their own person, I guess, for a while, if that makes sense. So I feel like that kind of represents where they've been. And then on the kind of flip side, you have Enigmas, which is a little more homey, a little bit more like what we've seen in like Nitaku and like the rest of the Umbra. Just, feels a little more cozy, a little more like home.
Yeah,
Because
okay.
that's more of what they've known.
Cool.
Mushrooms abound.
Yeah, little mushroom lights.
Yeah. All right. Neat. So, for the most part, you all get some sleep, some better than others.
I think mine is fine. It's just less, consensual.
Yeah. Nayla probably isn't sleeping much.
Yeah.
But we cut to the lodge, the hunting lodge room, as the first flickers of light from the new day wash into the windows. Ernest's eyes slowly start to open. Before he realizes someone else is in the room with him. It's Kanan, who simply hands him his pack that he's picked up off the floor as Ernest fell asleep going through it. Pushes it into his chest and says, let's get ready for a hike, old man. And then Ernest kind of grunts and stands up, throws the pack over his shoulder, and we see them walking towards the exit. There's a cut, like we've crossfade to a hiking trail outside the city. A bit of time has passed. It's a bit brighter in the day. The two of them are coming down the trail, and they get this view of the city from a distance. Kanan is a bit further ahead from Ernest, and is he's basically just walking at a leisurely pace. Ernest, on the other hand, is completely out of breath, and he has to like pause and rest himself on this like wood railing and catch his breath. He's covered in sweat. And Kanan turns back and looks at him. And he says, you're not done yet, are you, old man? We're just getting started. See if you can keep up. And he leaps over the railing and takes off at a sprint into the brush line. Ernest kind of like sighs, grunts, and kind of heaves himself over the railing and starts to try to take off after him. We cut away from that scene. The next scene we cut to is Nayla. Nayla, for the most part, you don't get sleep. Maybe apart from like a few intermittent minutes here and there where you doze off for 10, 15 minutes at a time. You open your eyes in between these spells of sort of like dozing off, thinking for a moment that maybe you're back in your little shelter at the edge of a lake in the Umbra where it's nice and quiet. No one bothers you. Even the Inky can't track you down. And then realize that I'm in this hotel room that doesn't really suit me. And then you doze off again. And then one of these times, you open your eyes back up. You find yourself in a very different place. You feel yourself resting on sand on your back. You feel a slight breeze, but the air is so hot that it burns your skin. As you open your eyes, you see a very large, very dark sun hanging in the air. Around you is nothing but endless wasteland. Not even a scrap of grass growing out of the sand anywhere. No signs of vegetation. There are the occasional ruin throughout the landscape, bits of rubble sticking out from the piles of sand, and somewhere in the distance you see a very tall, partly ruined tower. It's quite dark. And in front of this tower, you see several silhouettes suspended up off the ground on something quite long and thin. As you come to, the air is so warm that it's difficult to breathe. You feel uncomfortable in every conceivable way. What do you do?
She's gonna pick herself up off the ground and start heading towards the tower.
Yeah, as you do, your body screams out in pain. Every movement hurts. Just picking yourself up off the ground is a task. As you start to walk towards this tower, the slight breeze in the air picks up. Sand is blown against your skin where it cuts. It leaves scratches along your skin where the sand makes contact as the wind starts to blow quite hard for a time. As you make your way closer to the tower, the silhouettes start to take shape. And you realize that most of these silhouettes are people suspended up on some kind of platform that they're tied to, none of which are moving. All of them seem to be organized around this large, half-ruined tower. Make an observation or perception roll. And also make a constitution roll, please.
Observation. Constitution.
Awesome. So between the heat and the sand, you're definitely in a lot of pain. Your body just hurts in general. Like you can't really explain it, but you just feel weak, physically weaker. Like your muscles groan whenever you try to move, almost like your body is rebelling against your command. But you're okay. You don't go down a body step. You're not impeded at all by this. The other thing is you do notice something. On the tower itself, you see a dark shadow move. And at first, you think that it could be a cloud shadow moving in front of this huge red light in the sky. But then you realize, no, it's a shape. It's a enormous creature that's perched on the opposite side of the tower, like up against it on its side, and its enormous head is basically looking around the tower at you, watching you. When you notice it, it pulls its head back behind the tower.
Oh shit. And I'm here by myself. Okay. Do I have anything on me? Or is it just pretty much the clothes on my back?
What did you have on you when you fell asleep?
Oh my god, because we didn't have anything. Yeah, I guess I do have nothing because we didn't go into the simulation with anything.
Yeah. So yeah, I mean, you basically have what you had on you when you fell asleep, which if you didn't have any equipment or anything, then you don't have any.
I guess I'm gonna look for something to have in case I need it because, well, these people are dead and I'm in the middle of nowhere, but maybe there's like something I can use inside of the tower to help me.
Sure. Make another perception roll. Okay, awesome. So, looking around you just for anything you can use, couple things you notice. There's a lot of footprints basically that lead towards this tower and towards these like silhouettes that are sort of spread out evenly on crucifixes essentially around it. There's like an occasional stick, like dried bleached wood stick protruding from the sand. I mean, you could grab one of the sticks. Most of them are near the silhouettes. The other thing you would notice is like none of these silhouettes are moving, but a few of them have like clothing on them or like shoes, for example, hoods. Like they were clothed when they were tied to whatever it is they're tied to. They're probably, for the most part, actually like big pieces of bone, like big enough to tie a person to and suspend them a few feet off the ground. So quite large pieces of bone. But you could see if any of them have like gear on them. You can get to that quicker than you can get to the tower, certainly. You could crawl through the wreckage of the tower looking for stuff. I mean, you see bits of like metal and like jagged metal and stone protruding out from where parts of the tower are sort of collapsed.
Yeah.
That you could grab a hold of also. It would just take you longer to get there.
Because the thought process is clearly people are coming to this tower for something. And there's clearly something either guarding it or it's its home, whatever. And I'm assuming that people were killed while trying to go in said thing. So I guess I'll go and see if one of the silhouettes has anything on them. And also kind of checking to see what exactly happened to them besides the fact that they're kind of hanging up, if that makes sense.
Yeah. So you approach the nearest silhouette, and it takes you some time to walk this far. I mean, you were probably several hundred yards away from the nearest one, but you're much closer now. And again, like every step takes nearly all of your effort. But you make it to the first silhouette. As you get closer, you can see that it's a man dressed in robes. They're quite dirty and like frayed at the ends, especially. And the robes are dark, faded blacks and grays. The man also has like a golden chain around his neck. It's tucked under his robe, so you just see the top of it, but you can see like gold metal on it. His skin is dark, like olive color, and he has a long black beard. His head is sort of wrapped with dark fabrics, and he's not moving. He's sort of tied to this protruding large piece of bone. It's also bleached white. It could be stone, but it sticks up from the ground in like a spine, as if it was like part of some giant animal's tooth or something. And he's tied to this. And he also, like, just looking at him, he looks emaciated. He's not moving. His skin's very dry and tight. His figure itself is like very thin, you can tell. But yeah, you step closer and you notice he does have some equipment on him. He has like a leather pouch that's tied to one side. He has a like a blade made from metal that's still affixed to the other hip. And there's probably some more gear and stuff under the robes at the waist, in various satchels or bags or little pocket compartments. His head is limp and just down towards the ground. His arms are both probably tied to either side, and his legs are probably also tied to the fixture. There's a dark red, dried blood stain that runs down the length of the bone he's tied to on the side that he is on. It runs all the way down to the ground where it seemingly disappears.
Just to make sure, Nayla's gonna reach up and feel for a pulse.
Yeah, okay. So you put like a finger to his neck, like his carotid artery or whatever?
Yeah.
Sure. You do that and you're feeling, what strikes you immediately is how stiff the skin is when you go to push. It's almost like pushing your fingers into like hard wood when you go to or like a leather when you go to check his pulse. There's no moisture on his skin at all. It's very dry. And as you're doing this, a bird, a raven to be precise, lands on the top of his arm, like on his shoulder, and it pecks at his face a few times, while you're like feeling his neck for a pulse. It then it pecks like 2 or 3 times around the eye area, and then it stops and looks at you, and it caws one time. It pecks him 2, 3 more times, and then it flies off. That whole interaction is how long it took you to get a single pulse. Like, you do feel a very faint heartbeat, but there's a long pause between them.
How many silhouettes are there, and how spread apart are they again?
They're probably, I want to say 25 to 50 yards apart from each other, but they're all around this tower in a big circle. So, like, you can't even see the other side of the tower. It's so large. So there could be many of them, but they're all fixed on something similar to this, wearing different clothes, different styles of clothes even. Some are even wearing like armor, basically. Some are wearing rags. Yeah. Some are just wearing leathers.
Okay. So clearly something is in here that is holding them hostage, if not already completely killing them. So I guess Nayla is gonna take the metal from this man, the metal weapon or whatever you said he had, and go in and try to look for anything suspicious, like if obviously I know that there's the big ass creature. Is he still like watching me, or like is he getting more agitated the closer I get to the tower? Things like that.
Make another perception roll. And another constitution roll, please.
That is the perception. This is constitution.
Oh, yeah. Okay. Make sure you get a +1 memory for constitution if you don't, for that critical success. Okay, so you look back up at the tower, and again you see the creature. This time its head is between like 2 of the broken down spires. It's still on the other side of the tower, kind of like it's hanging off the other side. And it's looking between these 2 spires directly at you. It's huge, whatever the creature is. It's immense. And the eye on it looks vaguely like reptilian. So you got like the slit eye. And you can also hear like a deep breathing sound coming from this thing. It doesn't appear to be defensive. Like it doesn't shift its weight this time when you look at it. It just keeps staring at you. You start pulling some of the gear off this guy. You get the scimitar basically. You get you pull the leather pouch off his side, and you hear the sound of rattling metal in the pouch. If you were to open it to untie it and look inside, you'd probably see like several gold coins, several silver coins, several copper coins.
Gotcha.
He also had that necklace around his neck. Do you take that?
Uh. I'm gonna like pull it out from within the robe to see exactly what it is before I take it. To see if there's like a significant symbol on it or something like that.
Yeah. You sort of like, you don't pull it off his neck, but you pull the chain up from the front so you can get it out from under the robes and let it kind of dangle down. And when you do, you see that the pendant on the necklace is in the shape of a tower that's split by a lightning strike hitting it, and the tower is like broken or is in the process of breaking apart. And as soon as you like recognize that that's what you're looking at, the man coughs and wheezes slightly, and then you see his eyes kind of flicker a couple times weakly, and he says, "Please, sister, please kill me."
What's in here?
What's in here? Nothing. Pain. Suffering. The end. Culling.
Why did you come?
Please. Sister, I can't carry the weight anymore.
Are you one of the whispers?
Whispers. Was once. Fell so very short. Please. I can't take living anymore. Sister. His eyes dart to the scimitar in your hand.
Oh God, she feels awful.
Good. That's the point.
She like... If she lets this man suffer here, his death will drag out. But it's also killing a person. Oh my God, this...
Good. I'm glad you're struggling with this. That's exactly what I wanted.
God, I'm shook. Because the whole point is to become better than what you already are, but how are you better?
Right. They just gave you this whole lecture about how you're supposed to be like a better person, like to do the right thing, even like when you're at stake for it, right? And here you're met with, and they told you part of that was not killing. Like they said it's okay to kill if you have no other choice, right? But basically to take pity on your enemy, to try to, there's always a way to like fix them. And here you are met with a situation where like it's almost like killing would be a mercy, right? Like
yeah, exactly.
Like looking at this guy, he's clearly very weak. Even if you were to like cut him down, he'll just die in the sand. Like there's no way he could walk out of here.
Yeah,
it's
you're
wasteland
right.
as far as you can see. So yeah, it's a hard decision.
I feel like to give him mercy and peace, I would have to, because it's either quickly by me or he suffers long term and dies anyways. She feels really bad about it, but she doesn't want him to suffer either. So I think what she would do is like kind of, this is gonna sound lame, but this is what she's gonna do anyways. So she's gonna like kiss 3 of her fingers, touch the top of his forehead with it, and then say, I'm sorry, be at peace, brother, and then just end it for him.
Cool. How do you end it?
Oh God, whatever the fastest way is.
Where do you stab him?
In the heart.
Okay.
To make it quick.
So you drive the blade into his heart.
She is absolutely crying as she is doing this.
Yeah. Okay. This will be a check against violence. I'm gonna increase the difficulty because you're the one doing it, and it's an emotional moment for you, like you're killing a person who's basically helpless. But again, it's not gonna be like as high as the DC can go, but I'm just gonna raise it up to 5 dice instead of 4 because of that. So it's contested check against violence. That's the number you're trying to beat. Okay, that's a fail.
I'm okay with that. It makes sense for this.
Yeah. So yeah, you go down 1 mind step. Yeah, we see the tears welling up in your eyes. You're having an emotional reaction to this. You drive the blade into his sternum. He doesn't even react to the blade necessarily. Like he doesn't call out in pain or whimper or anything. His body barely even moves as you drive the blade in. And it's almost like his body is so dry that blood doesn't even really pour out. I mean, a couple of drops run down the blade itself, but they're so thick that it's basically like a molasses. He strains to look up towards the horizon as you do this. And his last words before he goes limp is pity not to see the sun rise again. And then he dies. You pull the blade out. What do? You look up back towards the tower, and this creature is still just in the same place, staring at you.
I still think about going towards the tower to see what's in there, because I'm probably going to get the same reaction from others, but I just want to see if there's anything inside that I can do that that can be helpful. That, and I really want to know what the fuck that creature is and what it's doing.
Yeah. So do you go into like the ruins of the tower?
Yeah.
All right. So yeah, we see you approaching. The creature just watching you as you get closer, closer. You start to enter the ruins of it itself, where you're starting to crawl over like broken pieces of rubble, metal, and stone, jagged scaffolding sticking up from the wreckage. Some of it you've got to push out of the way. Others you're climbing over, careful not to fall and stick yourself on something. Make a roll not to do that. All right. So you managed to avoid injuring yourself on sharp pieces of metal, loose stone, that sort of thing. You make your way to a part of this enormous ruined tower that's a bit more open. The creature is still perched on top of one of the spires, staring at you. It's almost like a clearing in this wreckage, if there wasn't so much just ruin around you in every direction. As you reach the center of this sort of like clearing, you see from either side of the spire, jutting out in both directions, two enormous bat-like wings as the creature starts to move. The wings flare out and catch the light of this deep red, swollen sun hanging in the sky. All you see is the dark, almost jet black silhouette of these enormous wings. The creature's head itself, as it slinks around the edge of these spires, crawling down the wreckage toward you. Not in too much of a hurry, rather almost taking its time as it's knocking over bits of the tower itself, bringing it to further destruction, peeling parts of it off as its claws scrape down the sides of it. This enormous dark dragon approaches you in the wreckage, just staring down at you calmly the whole time. You can hear the creature breathing, but it doesn't growl, doesn't hiss. It just calmly approaches you. Makes a lot of noise with the things it's crunching under its feet, the bits of the tower it's tearing off, almost accidentally, it closes in on you. 100 yards away. Then
I'm gonna let it. He's not being threatening to me, and I'm not being threatening to it.
it's 50 yards away. Then only a few dozen feet as this enormous silhouette towers over you, looking down at you, seemingly inspecting you. The wings flare out to either side, almost like the creature is trying to make itself look more menacing, more formidable. But again, it doesn't growl, it doesn't hiss, it doesn't roar. It simply just stares at you. The uncomfortability of the place you find yourself in intensifies. The air seems even hotter, hot enough to burn your skin. The sand whipped up by the wind seems to smash against your skin harder, tearing more bits of flesh away, opening up fresh scratches and wounds. Make a Constitution roll.
We're re-rolling that.
All right, it's your influence points.
Actually, you know what? I want to make a negative memory for this.
Okay, so you get the audio success.
Yeah.
All right. What's the memory? And what skill is made negative?
So since I was rolling Constitution,
okay, makes sense.
It would be Constitution.
So you'll get a -1. Are you spending 3 memory points for the one?
Yeah. By default, always assume that they'll spend 1.
Yeah, because it would make no sense to take an extra penalty to a skill.
Not unless you're trying to kill someone.
Okay. Yeah. All right. So you get a -1 to Constitution. Do you know what the memory would be, or do you want to write it later?
Since it's a new habitat, I might need some. I might need a minute.
Yeah.
To come up with it. But once I have it, I'll send it or whatever.
All right. No worries. Just make sure you write it in on your journal page when you have something ready. Just keep in mind, you're not limited to the perspective of an animal anymore. It can be anything you want as long as it's a negative memory involving Constitution, I guess.
And framed in the form of a nightmare.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, you're right. Yeah. So the heat seeps into you, the sand tears at your skin, and you weather it. You're not affected in any way. The creature brings its maw down closer to you. Again, just staring at you, its wings wide. As it gets lower, you get a better look at the top of its hide. It's not a black, jet black creature at all. The top of its scales are actually more of a bronze color. The creature widens its mouth, and you see rows and rows of sharp teeth, a large forked tongue. And then, now just feet from you, it suddenly goes from being calm to lunging towards you very quickly. make a special roll.
What's the dice pool?
Use 3 for this. Good. Okay. The creature lunges towards you. At first, we think that it's going to chomp down on you. I mean, its mouth was open, or breathe fire on you, maybe. But it does neither of those things. As it lunges towards you, the tip of it first, as it gets to the point where it would make contact with you, seems to contort and shrink down into maybe a dark smoke, maybe a twisting tendril. I suppose that is up to you. But it enters your body through either like your mouth, your nose, your eyes, your ears, all of the above. It pours into you. And with it comes a certain sense of, terrible pain. Like this pain you've been feeling since you've been in this place, like this place seems like a place of suffering. That is what this creature is. It is pure suffering. But just like how you realize that it's not entirely made of some jet black material, that there was some bronze there, there is a purpose to this suffering. You know it's there. Maybe you have to take some serious time to dig deep to find out what that purpose is. But you get a sense of almost safety, protection from it. More so, necessity. And then everything fades to black.
That was awesome.
Good. I'm glad you enjoyed that.
I was like, this thing's either just gonna come close to scare the piss up out of me, or something bad's gonna happen. We're just gonna stand here and watch.
Oh goodness, and then it's 12:30.
It is. Do we want to end here?
It's 1:30 for me, folks.
Oh yeah, it's past time for you to go then, isn't it? That's my bad.
No, you're good, man. I had a great time.
All right, let's
Thank
wrap
you
up
for
here.
this.
That was a good session. Sorry, I got.
Yeah, I think that's a good spot to end it.
Yeah, I think so. So when we pick up next time, we'll have the scenes for the other folks that we didn't get to today. But thank you all for playing. You all did wonderful today, as always. We'll go through the announcements again. So, guys, make sure you tune in Monday for more Forest of Flesh D&D 5e goodness. There may have been some references just a second ago to that show. There's a little bit of Forest of Flesh references going on there. A little bit, maybe. So join in for that, and we'll be back Wednesday with some more Broken for some more sci-fi tabletop goodness. You can join the Discord. It is free. You can see all the crazy memes that were posted
The
tonight.
Discord.
Yeah, there was some good stuff. I saw some good memes posted tonight. Thank you, guys. So if you want to take part in memeing, you can do so at the link there. If you're watching on YouTube, again, it's in the description down below. You can post your own memes. You can ask questions about lore and stuff for various shows. You can do all of that. You can buy Dank a coffee at buymeacoffee.com/brokendank. Here is the link for that. fuel him up for his conversation with Flint. Hopefully that
I'm
goes well.
probably going to need it.
Hopefully it goes well. You can also head over to twitter.com/sketching space and give Gerblin, aka the Enigmas, a follow and check out some cool art while you're there. And you can head over to instagram.com/asawansdesigns or tiktok.com or coffee.com/asawansdesigns for more art if you want to see art for like Cassidy, for example. I think that's everything. I really appreciate you guys watching. I appreciate you guys playing. I think it was a good session today. I hope everybody has a fantastic night and a great week. And we'll see you Monday for some more Force Flash. Bye, folks.
Huzzah!
Bye.
Bye, guys.
Bye.
Thank you guys
Thanks.
for this.
Thank you. Have a great night.
Good night. Bye.
Night.
Bye, guys.